All right. I wanted to make this video my birthday or around my birthday when I turned 30. But I'm still 30 and I think it's always a good time to give out personal accounts and advice and anything I can give to stop others from I guess wasting their time. I don't know. I didn't even write anything down. I probably should have, but uh, there's a lot that I have to say. So first of all, is that it's better to be who you are. It's better to stay true to who you are than to try to be a people pleaser. And I'll try not to spend too much time on this video, and I'll probably just come back with a more calculated part two. But it's very important is that you won't be able to please the world. And if you somehow manage to please everyone, then you have served yourself unjustly. You have gone uh, wrong somewhere in a sense of you didn't really find out what it means to be you because you just don't make it to a point where you get everybody to like you and you're also happy in that aspect. I mean, I would imagine true happiness comes from not really caring too much about how people feel about you, and you have this sense of self fulfillment. But people pleasing, trying to get on the good side of others, it comes with a lot of compromises. Constantly compromising yourself by way of making sure that you don't rub people the wrong way, making sure they see you in a certain light, see you as intelligent, whatever that may be for you. But simply put, it's not worth it. It's not sustainable. And the bill that you'll get from that, if you ever succeed for any amount of time, the bill that you will get is you have to sit with yourself one time and you'll bear a lot of resentment. Resentment for others, but probably more importantly, resentment for yourself. And you'll feel lost and you'll feel nothing closer to who you could have become because you spent so much time trying to be a mirror or trying to do what was expected of you. And when you do what's expected of you, it's going to lead you to where most people have been led, and most people are unhappy. It's the truth. Most people are unhappy. They get sold a dream and it turns out to be a nightmare. The dream is free, but you get the bill is rather expensive. So it's better to be just true to who you are and accept that other people won't like you. Some people won't take to you. You may be ostracized. You may be ridiculed. You may be alienated, but all of it uh, is still worth it in my book. What do I know? Which brings me to my point number two is that the more you learn, the less you really know. Like we don't really know anything. A lot of people try to stick to these labels as a sense of submitting their pride, and they feel like it's something they can rest their head on. See, I'm an author. I'm a writer. I'm these things. But I think at best, if you want to put labels on yourself, it's supposed to be something to live up to, not something to flash like badges or awards or something like that. You know, so it's like if you call yourself a writer, then I would expect for you to do what writers do, which is write. Write often. So I think it's better to use that as a means of something to live up to, as opposed to something to kind of display. To make yourself seem mightier than others. All right, and so yeah, the more you learn, the more you understand that there's just no way that you could know everything. There's no way, and in a sense, I mean, you kind of know everything by understanding that you don't know everything, because that's it. And so you spend a life. You spend your life being a student, which is advice that I would give. And as a 30-year-old, I realized that you just never stop learning. I mean, you can, but you never should. You can definitely plateau and say, "Oh, I'm a grown ass person, whatever. I made it this far," and you probably live to be 90, whatever, on airplane mode. But it's such a it's such a short life, which is another point. But it's such a short life that the quality of life matters. All right. And so segue to uh, my next point of life just goes by faster the older you get. What I find myself doing a lot of for the past few years, and I probably do this for the rest of my life, is just process of elimination. So you start cutting things out that just really don't serve you. So maybe it's time for you to stop smoking and stop drinking, or you stop gossiping, or you stop eating poorly, or you stop sleeping less, whatever it is. You stop being on social media for this amount of time. Process elimination that will leave you with this void that you can fill up with something more meaningful, something more worthwhile, something more sustainable, something more beneficial. And there you go. But to a point that I made earlier when I was talking about it's better to stay true to who you are than be a people pleaser. Uh, Fuck popularity. All right. Fuck popularity. Fuck celebrities. You know what I'm saying? Your family is celebrities in your life. You're the celebrity in your family's life. Well, that's how I see it. You know what I'm saying? You don't know these people on the screen that they put in front of you, and sometimes their significance is really not much significance at all. I love sports, but put these athletes on a pedestal just because they get paid millions of dollars to play a kid's game. Now, if these athletes weren't being paid millions of dollars, you wouldn't feel the same way about them. You'd be like, man, these people need to get a fucking job, man. Whatever, whatever. But it's not about popularity. And you see, everyday people try to find a way to be seen, even if it means making a fool out of themselves in a way where it's like, is that really a hill you would like to die on? But I understand that a lot of people just want to be seen. But a lot of people who just want to be seen, I question if they see themselves. I question that from in my own world because I do spend a lot of time alone. Naturally, it may come with a sense of loneliness. But even as I find myself rejecting seeing myself for being my own cheerleader, my own biggest fan, which is uh, things that I advise. And well, I mean, pretty much that's that on that. Fuck being popular, be efficient. Maybe popularity will come. Okay. I'm not speaking out against being popular. It's just like you know, take the take the moral path to where you're going, which is another point. Keep your morals. You may lose friends, you may get mocked and laughed at, but always keep your morals. You know, if you're a person who doesn't use profanity around a bunch of people who use profanity, don't feel like you got to use profanity. You know, don't judge them for it, but you get around them and just be yourself. Hey, always lead with who you are, and I think that just takes that shows a lot of strength. You know, because groupthink is a great monster. I've always known that for quite some time now, especially I mean throughout my adult life. But now at a time like this, with the way the past few years have gone, groupthink is a deadly monster. It's a sinking ship, and people will willingly buy a ticket to. Um, So another point is uh don't be so trusting. Don't trust blindly. And that's why we're in a situation we're in right now, paying taxes to be alive, paying taxes on everything we earn, paying taxes on our houses. Very soon, be paying taxes on your gas, on the gas that you pay to drive. Like you be paying, we're paying taxes on the miles driven. You're paying taxes on unrealized gains. Yeah, that's right. Your house worth 500,000 and be worth 600,000, and you have to pay the difference as if you got that. A lot of people be forced to sell their homes or forced to foreclosure if that happens. But that's the world that we live in, blindly trusting. And they constantly moving the goalposts, giving us more things to adjust to. That's the thing. They prey on the fact that humans are very resilient as a whole, but it's very unsustainable. And each time they move the goalposts a little further, people get left behind. You know, and it's going to keep happening until an equal or greater force intervenes. And I don't, I've said many times that I think I'll be alive to see that happen, but I don't know, because on paper it's getting worse and worse. Like I'm sitting down right now trying to figure out what I'm gonna do about my tax situation, and I'll likely be able to pay it off, but it's going to compromise me very much so. And I earn this, you know. I get the bill for everything, and people in certain companies, or yeah, certain companies have the audacity to tell me what I have to do with my money. And if I don't do it, I go to jail. If I don't give them my money, I go to jail. That's extortion, you know? That's criminal. And I didn't really want to spend too much time talking about that, and I won't, but no, man. We don't have to live in a world like that. I just know it. There's enough to go around. We are being preyed on from the powers that be, you know, people up top, evil forces up top. And you really couldn't convince me anything different. So don't be blindly trusting. Don't be blindly trusting of your teachers, of the doctors, the people responsible for the food, the fast food places. Don't be blindly don't blindly trust. They all work hand in hand, you know. The school system work with the bullshit job system. They work with the bullshit um uh um uh penal system, you know. There's definitely been some documentation on the public school to prison pipeline, you know, school training you to be good workers or good inmates, you know. The food system is in bed with the medical system, you know. Good big business and shitty food, big business and poor health, you know. A time like now, you see doctors and scientists with a lot to lose and nothing to gain getting fired, getting their licenses suspended, all of these things for speaking out against this bullshit uh flaxine, you know what I'm talking about. Speaking out against it. Meanwhile, we seeing the effects of it. The news not gonna report on things like that, but it just keeps coming out. It's like trying to hide $1 million under a rug. You're gonna see it, it's gonna pop out, you know. It's only a matter of time. Now some people will never get it, and that's okay. Which is another thing. You think you gotta have it figured out by the time you're 20 something, or by the time you even my age, when you get to my age and maybe even younger, you realize that people twice your age, people three times your age or whatever, they still ain't got it. They still don't understand. They stuck in their ways, you know. That's what I found. And it's like when you do become an adult, yes, other adults are pretty much your peers. They might not, may not like that. You may not accept that, but they are your peers. My mom is my mom, but she's my peer. You know, that doesn't mean I'm not going to look at her like she's my mother, but she's my peer. My aunt is my peer. All right. I don't care if you're twice my age, you're my peer. All right. But at the same time, you don't treat it as if, you know, there isn't respect to be had for someone who's lived um, 60 years or whatever it may be. You owe it to them that, when you converse with them, you should be able to be on their level. Otherwise, you're just foolish. You know, foolish in thinking that, they're your peer and that's all it is. Yeah, sure. They are your peer, but you have to meet their level of respect at the bare minimum. I do believe in that. All right. So, come correct. Don't think it goes back to you thinking you know everything and you don't. All right. So, uh, it's very vital. But you conduct yourself as if that is your peer. All right. Um, what else? You know what? That's it for now. I think I'll do a part two just because I know there are a couple of things that I'm forgetting to mention, but I don't want to ramble. Okay, so until next time, thank you.